special training. Special because we're going to have some of the mentors on here participating. Not only the mentors, some tier twos, or even if you're a tier one and you've got some. Here's what we want to do today. We want to have a collaboration. We want to have something where, like, hey, listen, let's all help each other. What are you doing? And listen, this is where we show. This is where we show that the importance of a community, the importance of being a team, the importance of being a team player, how we help each other out, share the wealth, have an abundance mindset, right? The book, The Science of Getting Rich, constantly talks about having an abundance mindset, right? Being the kind of leader that shares with other people, right? Being the kind of leader that says, hey, listen, nobody is going to take from me what is rightfully mine. What the creator has for me is going to be mine, and I don't mind sharing the wealth. So that's what we want. We want to help the new person. There might be people on here that are struggling to get more bills, or to get their first bill, or to get their first recruit. What is it that's been working for you guys that are closing deals, not only to get utility bills, to get appointments, to book appointments, to make appointments go through, to get ambassadors, to get recruits, to get sales? I want you guys to share. So we've got some people that have already committed to coming on here and sharing some of the best secrets, like Mr. Kevin Rivas, one of the top mentors in all of Florida, the #1 Miami mentor in all of Power, one of the top mentors in the whole company, Mr. Kevin Rivas. We got Mr. Calvin Hong, that's also going to help us with helping doing some of these. We've got Mr. Louis Rangel, who's going to also give us some tips on what he's doing to make it happen. What's up, Michael? See, I interrupted the meeting for you, bro. Yeah, thanks, bro. So, and we got a couple of other people, Mr. Ramsey Clark, Mr. Jonathan Espinal, one of the top mentors in Florida as well, just absolutely crushing it. So, and anybody else that wants to come on here, wants to share with others, I want you to let me know. I want to hear from Syed. Syed, I want to know how you, in like 5 months, got 10, 12 sales done, and you got a team of about 10, 12 people as well. People need to know that. So this is where we take off the gloves and we show people what we're made of. So with that being said, I want to share this with you guys here real quick. And I want to talk about, start it off with an elevator pitch. Okay, so let's see here. Where is it? There it is. Oh, is that not it? No, that is not it. Okay, it's okay. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pull this up. There it is. Okay, so I want to start with this elevator pitch, and it is on the document in the Team Freedom Academy. So if you go to the Team Freedom website, you've got this document here, and I'm going to share it in the chat. Let's go. Yeah, okay, go. You got it? Okay, I'm already in here, so I'll put it there. Thank you, Jessica. So here's what we want to do. In the teamfreedomtraining.net, okay, dang, a couple of you guys got on here real quick. Anonymous Shunk, Anonymous Hedgehog, and Anonymous, what is that? How do you pronounce that? Quagga? Anonymous Dolphin. It's all good. So here we go. Well, you've got all kinds of scripts in here. We're talking about scripts today. We're talking about tips and tricks on how to get it. I'm going to go here because I just added these. Elevator pitch. So there's 2 elevator pitches here. Everybody, I want you guys to understand this. Everybody should have an elevator pitch. Now, I'm not saying that you should use this elevator pitch. I'm saying this is what I use that works for me. Maybe you could get some of this here and make it better, make it your own, add or subtract to it, but I'm giving you a framework. So for example, the elevator pitch for homeowners. An elevator pitch, for you guys that don't know, is a quick pitch, right? Like pretend like you're in an elevator with somebody, you don't have a lot of time. They're going to get to their floor, they're going to leave. So you need to be able to pitch them. I'm a nationwide solar broker, and I help people go solar with 0 upfront costs. As a matter of fact, our average customer saves anywhere from $50 to $200 per month by going solar with us. Simple. Simple, right? Most people don't know. You should know that your elevator pitch by memory. By memory. Here's the same elevator pitch for recruiting purposes. Yeah, I'm actually in charge of the nationwide expansion for a nationwide solar brokerage, and we're always looking for people that are interested in a 6-figure income opportunity in the solar industry. Here's my card. By the way, let me know if you know of anybody who may be interested in a career change or simply to supplement their income. See, that's quick. That's fast. and quick. That's fast, quick, and in a hurry. Fast, quick, and in a hurry. All of you, anybody in power has access to this. TeamFreedomTraining.net, the scripts are there. So we've got scripts for door knocking. We've got scripts for new homeowner lists. We've got scripts for calling realtors. There's all kinds of scripts in this document. Okay. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll share this a little bit later, but right now, I want the mentors to open up here. I want the mentors to open up and to let me know what are some of the tips and tricks, not only scripts, okay, but also what are some of the things that you're doing to get customers, sales, bills, leads, appointments, sales, etc. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, JC. So a lot of what I've been doing here in Orlando, Jonathan and I work together a lot, is we've been value stacking. So whenever we're presenting to someone, and I learned this from Curtis Bailey. So shout out to Curtis, and he calls it the power stack, right? So start off your proposals and your presentations with the creme de la creme deluxe, and then let the owner or the homeowner decide what it is they want or what they don't want. That way you're not starting at a lower position and then trying to go up. You're starting from the top and you're trimming the fat, if that makes sense. And I found that actually really helped me a lot with my proposals and closing deals.
Okay, very nice. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that value stacking?
Sure. So when I say value stack, it's what's going to be the most valuable system, not necessarily the cheapest. It's most likely going to be more expensive at the beginning, right? But we're looking at value. So we're looking at batteries. We're looking at smart electric panels because we want to invest in protecting that battery to give it that 40% extra life, right? So it may be a little bit more upfront, but they're going to have a better overall experience. And I feel value in the long term, right? So if you can translate that value to where you can paint that picture to where they say, even if it's more money, you're taking them from here or to wherever the problem is, and you're closing that gap. So that's the value stack. And that way, when you start with everything, they can take it off themselves. They say, oh, we don't need the EV charger. We don't need the battery. That's fine. Whereas if you try it the opposite way, you say, oh, well, let's see what it is with the battery. Then it's more of a shock, right?
Yes. Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good. So you give them everything, right? You give them the works, right? Like they order a pizza, here's the works. You don't like anchovies, let's take those anchovies out, right?
Yeah. They do the work for you. They do that. They're the leverage, right? And I mean, we're being consultants, we're consultative selling. So we're literally letting them tell us what it is they want.
That's good. No, I like that a lot. And I think that's a great idea. That's definitely something that I am going to implement as well, right? Now, obviously, when you're doing a deal with like Sunnova, and it's not as easy as Solo or Vision to remove things, then it makes it a little bit more complicated. But in that scenario, I guess what we could do is have a couple of pre-made proposals ready, right? Like here's a proposal with the works. Here's a proposal without the EV charger. Here's a proposal with, et cetera, et cetera. So and not only that, it's not that doggone hard to get it. It just takes a couple of minutes. So do you let them know, hey, by the way, I've added everything to here, and we could customize it from here, right? So this price, this is not what most companies do, but this is with everything. And you let me know what are some things that you want, what are some things that you don't want, and we could just take off the things, and then that'll make the price a little bit lower.
Sure. So that's pretty much what I do. I take leadership and I say, listen, I'm going to build you the system that I would give my mother, the system that I would give a friend, a personal friend. I'm going to build what I think, if I were in your shoes, would be the best system based off of what you have. From there, we can always delegate what you don't want, what you want, but I want to give you the most value for your time. So I take that initiative and I show them that this is what I would do. This is only my suggestion because I'm here as a servant to consult you and to help you based off of what you feel is right for you. So I tell them I'm not going to be the cheapest. If you're looking for the cheapest, it's not me, right? So I just have that posture. And sometimes people are like, okay, bye. Well, hey, I just saved some time with someone who wasn't going to buy anyways, or I wasn't going to be able to help, right? So just having that certainty and that posture of that you're not for everyone, right? You're here to really help people and give them the most value possible. And not everyone wants that, and that's okay.
That's right. You're sorting, right? Just like we're looking in the opportunity side, we're looking for the lookers. I don't waste my time on the opportunity side with convincing people. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. That is from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which, by the way, I recommend everybody read that book. If you're in a leadership position or you want to be, meaning as a leader, You should pick up that book. I read that. That's the first personal development book I read in 2001 when I was 18 years old. They said, read that book. And I read that. I still have that book right now. That is a 22-year-old book for me. It's more than 22 years old. So How to Win Friends and Influence People. I highly recommend that book. Thank you for sharing, Ramsey. Any other tips you want to share, Ramsey, or is that it?
I mean, for me, I'm focusing more on my brand and creating funny, engaging commercials, and not really selling to people, but just using comedy and laughter and letting them approach me when they're ready. And that's been actually helping a lot. So I'm here with my friend Alex, who's actually the producer. He just hurt his back, poor guy. And I've been getting a lot of reach outs from that. So build your brand, build yourself, even if it's with power. Do it in a way that accentuates your personality, who you are. Because remember, everyone else is taken. So be you. That's what I would say.
I like that. I like that. Thank you for sharing, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Who else do we have on the line that's going to share their tips?
I'll share a little something here, JC. First of all, I read How to Win Friends and Influence People at the age of 12, and I'm a lot older than you. So one of the best books ever, and I highly recommend everybody read that book.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'm focused, and great stuff, Ramsey. Really good in terms of value stacking, very important. For me, I just wanted to mention that I find it important to talk to people always in the process about the consequences. You know, it's a big deal. It's a big decision for people. Solar's not an easy yes or no decision right out of the gate. So if you cannot explain to people what are the consequences of them not going solar, what's it going to be like if you don't go this way? It's very important. And then take away a little bit of the fact that, you know, it's a no-brainer for them. Say, like, you know, this might not work for you, and get them to be thinking, because people very much along the lines of a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. If you cannot get people to make the decision themselves that they want to move forward, you're always going to be, you're trying to push them, right? And how do you push rope? You don't push rope very well. You have to pull people into the decision to get to where they want to go. Then when they're the ones making the move, much easier to get to the solutions that you have, you know, after, you know, and it's a lot of the NEPQ stuff that's in there that you really are just probing and asking questions to get to that place where you find in them the desire to say, hey, yeah, I am sick and tired of this monopoly taking advantage of me. I don't have a choice. I don't have any freedom. I don't have, you know, the likelihood that my bills aren't going to continue to go up and up and up. So just for those people who are having trouble maybe talking to folks and getting them interested in solar because they get pitched all the time, to just get them to think about, well, what if you don't do this? What are the consequences?
Right. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, brother. Let's see, who else do we have on the line? Who wants to go next and share their tips? Let's go with Jonathan Espinal. Go ahead, brother. Unmute yourself and let's do it.
Hey, JC. So for me, I'm more of a tech nomad. I'm always behind the computer. I tried door knocking. I tried, you know, cold calling to experience it for myself. But what I do is mostly I try to recruit using AI, right? I don't let the AI do all the work. But for example, for LinkedIn, I load 1,000 realtors all at once, and I set the bot to befriend them, like their stuff, and send them the first message. After they respond, which I have a 15% respond rate, which is pretty good on LinkedIn, then I engage it myself. So that's one of the things that I do to recruit realtors. And as you heard, the first thing that I talked about for leads is recruiting. Because like for me, I have an electrical engineering background. I left my job not necessarily so that I'm door knocking all the time, but that I build a team that they can bring in business, not necessarily for me, but they can actually generate income for me, similar to what JC did, right? I made it to tier 3. I think it took like 3 months or something like that, 2.5 months. And after I made it to tier 3, I made it my goal to just start recruiting realtors and stuff like that. Another thing, I do use the CRM as well to engage with my ambassadors, because a lot of people, you might have 100 ambassadors, but if you don't remind them that you're still in the business and that things are still going, they will forget. Like, right? People forget. So I use my CRM to remind them every so often, hey, you know, utility rates have been going up. Like, do you know anybody new? And I've gotten really good results from that. Like, for example, last month and the month before, basically all my sales were referrals. I didn't go out and get them myself. So that's one of the things that I do and approach. And I also let every single person know that I'm in solar. And that I learned from JC Rangel. If somebody's cutting my hair, you better believe that my conversation is going to be what I do. If I'm buying something from you at the grocery store or Walmart, for example, the cashier better, you know, you better know that she's going to hear that I'm a solar professional, and I will ask them if they want to make more money. So that's all I've been doing basically, is trying to grow the team that way. And another thing that I do, I invest in myself in trainings, because like I mentioned, I came from engineering. I had no sales background, so I invest in sales training. I've been to JC Rangel's training, I think 2 years in a row now. Get out there to California. Another thing that I do is I buy other sales training as well. I actually invested more than I made in the first month and a half in training, just because it will get you to the next level. And also some of the things that I do is what Ramsey does as well. You show first the highest price system with all the whistles, and then you go down from there. And like JC said, we always, like Ramsey and I, we do this. We have a loan, lease, and a couple of different options ready, so that we don't have to be fidgeting with the proposal. So we already know what that's going to be. And also, I'm not a hard closer, right? So I approach the homeowner, I show all the value that there is to show, and they make the decision. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't follow up. I do follow up, and I make sure that they hear from me every so often. So I have a pretty good closing rate because of that. I don't pressure them in the moment, but I do have a good follow-up game, and my CRM will make sure to follow up with them as well. What are some other things? Oh, mentally, I prepare myself mentally every day. There was something that JC said that stuck with me. It's like, think that you're like Winnie the Pooh when you are doing your daily activities and you start scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or stuff like that. And sometimes I've caught myself with that, and I'm like, I might as well wear a red crop top, because I'm Winnie the Pooh right now, right? So I tell myself that, and I stop that right away, because this game is more mental than it is anything else, right? You can beat yourself mentally if you don't have a sale this month, or if you haven't recruited anybody. But there's only two things that you can control, and JC mentions this all the time, which is attitude and what you do, basically the activities that you put in, and then results will come in. So that's basically what I focus on every day. I think you're muted, JC.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell me about what your follow-up looks like, bro. You mentioned that your follow-up is really good, and because of that, you get a lot of sales. What does it look like? Let's say you get the interest, you pique the interest, they haven't given you the bill, you know, you're following up to get the bill and the appointment. What does that look like?
Well, first of all, as soon as I get introduced to the person or I meet them, the first thing that I say, hey, you know, I'm a very busy individual. I'm sure you are as well. Please, let's come up with a date that we can meet up. And I tell them to have the bill ready. So usually getting the bill is not the biggest issue for me. But if they haven't gotten me the bill yet, what I do say, for example, in that example, they haven't gotten me the bill yet. Hey, JC, I've actually been thinking about you and your situation, that you initially told me that you were having a hard time with your electric bill, but I haven't received the bill from you. You know, when am I going to get that? I put them on that spot. So it's not soft. It's like, when are you getting me that bill? And if they don't respond, I do hit them like after a couple of times. If they don't respond, I hit them with what JC taught the other day, which is, hey, you know, I've been trying to reach out to you a couple of times. Where do we take it from here? And they usually respond like almost immediately with that.
Yep. Yeah. That is a very good one. That is, everybody that uses that, I get more often than not, way more often than not, positive feedback. Hey, Jonathan, I've tried to reach out to you a few times. I haven't heard back from you. ... Space. Where do we go from here? ... And boom. Sometimes I might even throw this in there. By the way, here's a couple of golden nuggets. That's why you don't miss a training. Sometimes I might say this. Hey, Jonathan, I here's what I've said. By the way, Tony, I want to hear from you, bro. I want you to unmute yourself shortly. Here's something that I say sometimes. Depending on the situation, right? And the more you deal with people, the better you know who you could get away with certain things with, right? Sometimes you're gonna have egg on your face. Sometimes you're gonna flop. That's okay. But here's one thing I say sometimes. I say, hey, Jonathan, I don't know. I find it a little bit strange that I don't get any reply from you. If I insulted you in any way, I want you to know that I apologize, because that's how I feel now that, you know, I don't even get a response from you. Anyways, I hope all is well. Boom. Does that make sense? I hope I didn't insult you in any way. Now, very often people will come back and say, oh, no, bro, you didn't insult me. I just been busy, blah, 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 right? What I want is to get them engaged in the conversation. Hey, man, now I got the fish on the hook. Now it's my job. Okay, when they replied, the fish took the bait. It's a big fish. I got to reel them in, right? But at least I got a shot. If they're not even on the hook, right, I'm not reeling anything in. So anyways, thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. Now, one more thing, Jonathan. Can you touch it? By the way, Jonathan, in 2 weeks, not next Monday, but the Monday after, Jonathan is going to be doing a training on the following topic that we're going to talk about right now. Can you talk to us about how you generate leads and how about your prospecting with the AI system that you've got going on, please?
Right. So I use a website called Meet Alfred, and basically what it does is that it scrapes contact information from LinkedIn. So if I write EXP Realtors, it would grab, for example, the first 1,000 EXP Realtors, and you can select only people with images, only people with phone numbers. And once I do that, I set a series of messages that I want the bot to do. So the first message is just a friendly message. Hey, you know, I just ran up on your page. I believe that we have a lot of things in common, and we could possibly work together. Realtors love to hear that you want to partner up with them, and that you're willing to join their business. They don't know what it is about yet, but once they accept your friend request, you talk to them a little bit more. You don't give them all the substance because you want to bring them into like a Monday meeting, or you want to set a one-on-one with them. So Meet Alfred I think it's like $250 every 3 months. And it's absolutely worth it, because you just get one realtor or one roofer or whoever from there, and that pays for itself. So that's a no-brainer. And another thing is that I use a CRM that's based on high level, and Ramsey and I, we work on the workflows. What workflow is a series of actions that the CRM is taking to follow up with leads that you obtained, or whether it's like a cold list or a list of realtors that I got. And I get the bot to send them messages and follow up with them as well through the CRM. And Alfred could do messaging on LinkedIn, but it can also send emails if that realtor or that person has an email as well. And it's something that, as we speak right now, it's working in the background for me. So it's a no-brainer. It's like I have a group of people working for me when I have that platform. And there are certain limitations to it, because LinkedIn knows if you approach like a couple hundred people a day, they know as a bot. So I usually only do like, let's say 40 people a day, 30 people a day. And it's smart enough to do it during certain times of the day, like during times where people would usually take breaks from work and stuff like that, so that it seems like it's a person.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, let me ask you this. Does it only work on LinkedIn, or does it work on other social media platforms?
It works on LinkedIn. I've only used it for LinkedIn and emails, but I believe it also works on Instagram. Don't quote me on that though, because I use different platforms for that, for emails, LinkedIn, emails, Instagram, and Facebook. So with those, I thread a little lightly. Instagram, I'm just growing my page right now because I had been focused on creating the bot and creating the follow-up on the CRM. I'm now growing my page. I'm gonna start a podcast just like Mr. JC. I have my mic right here that I got ready. And my YouTube channel. But for that, I usually use Canva, for example, for Instagram, and I create 30 days worth of content, and I use the planner, the social media planner,
Mhm.
and it would post for me for 30 days, basically, on my social media.
Nice, very nice. Thank you. So here's the deal. Jonathan is going to be diving into this deep 2 weeks from now, not next Monday, but the following Monday. So I recommend, yes, put it on your calendar. But for those of you guys that are serious about your business, the Monday and Tuesday trainings should be an automatic on your calendar. Nobody should need to remind you for anything, right? So, anyways, 2 weeks from now is going to be doing that. Thank you for sharing, Jonathan. Appreciate that very much. Who else do we have on that wants to share?
Hey JC, it's Kevin here.
Let's go, Kevin. What's up, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, so the way I've been working, it's I think I'm pretty known for door knocking. One of the things that I've been noticing is that I think we all have to understand is that we are a solo professional, right? You are an entrepreneur. You're not a salesman. You are a broker. We have the opportunity to give people cash, finance, and leasing, right? We have all options. So one thing I do know is that time is very important. Time is valuable, right? We have to take the time away from family, work. We have stuff to do, and every second counts, right? So I think one of the most important things for me is that I've been learning and noticing is that when we speak to people, one thing I learned is qualify harder and close easier, right? What I mean by that is that either whatever method of prospecting you're using, it's okay. For me, door knocking is the way I do it. I do use social media. I'm trying to tap into more what Jonathan and Ramsey says. I have a brand, I want to do that. I believe digital door knocking as well. Nothing wrong with content. It makes sense. But one thing I do know is that once you get the prospect to the hook, right, like you're fishing, there's a specific time right there in the moment that you can qualify them. So for an example, I believe that we should set the agenda and let them know like, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I don't know if we're gonna do business together. I don't even know if we can even choose you, right, for us to bring our team and do the install because we're covering up the permits fee. Because yes, everybody in solar knows that it's out of pocket, but we gotta use that in a edifying way where it makes us different because we're a solo professional, we're not a salesman. Every salesman that comes across a prospect, they're like, hey, is there out of pocket? We cover all that. That's fine. But remember, you want to be set apart. You're not called to be like everybody. That's what makes you different. So I believe how I learned is qualify harder, close easier. If in the beginning of the process, while you're on the phone with them, right, a question you can ask is, hey, Mr. Homeowner, what are you hoping to get out of this phone call? Oh, I'm hoping to get out of, see if solar makes sense. Okay, and tell me a little bit more. Oh, and who else is going to be making a decision, or how does your decision process look like? Tell me about it. Well, if I make a decision, I want to know more about the company. I want to, do my research. So by the time you show the presentation, by the time you show the proposal, you already have everything ready, and you ask the hard stuff. It's like eating a pizza, right? We start out with the soft part. We don't eat the crust. No, let's do it backwards. Let's eat the crust and eat the soft part. Let's go through the BS and the hard stuff. So one thing I'm implementing more is that, like yesterday I met a lady. She has like a $2 million home. I spoke to her and I asked her everything right there, everything. I don't want to wait until we sit together. I said, hey, what attracted you to solar? Because when we spoke, she looked into solar before. So instead of me telling her, hey, I can get your solar report, I said, hey, let me ask you, why didn't you pull the trigger? And she gave me her reasons. Now let me ask you another question. What made you look into solar? And she's selling herself the idea why she needs it versus me doing all the selling. She's doing it for me. And then I asked her, let me ask you, once we go through over the numbers, and let's say hypothetical, the numbers are this, this, and that, would you move forward once we get together? Would it make sense to do the application and see if you qualify? So I'm already learning to get the commitment from day one. So when I sit with them, the close is so easy, and you did not waste all this time with the back and forth of like, hey, Mr. Kevin, can you just send me the proposal? We want to think about it. No, you already set the agenda from day one. You're qualifying, and it's just making it easier for you, right, to not waste time, right? So I think that's one thing that I've been doing out here. It's right? The simple stuff, pique the interest, get the bill, however you're using your prospect method, like either door knocking, cold calling, either you have leads being generated to you, is the same concept. Set the agenda that you're a professional solar expert, right? You're a specialist. That's what I like to say. Hey, I'm a specialist in this. We don't know if we don't know we're a good fit for each other. We have to have a conversation, and I gotta ask you a couple questions. And you start going through those questions that you want to ask. And then once you know, because the thing is this, what if that prospect is not a qualified prospect? What if they have a bad credit? What if they say, hey, I want to go into solar, but then her spouse comes in and says, hey, I have this, idea that it doesn't work. No, you want to have all that stuff ready so you do not waste time and the close just comes out so easy and so smooth. That's one thing that I could share, JP.
Awesome, awesome. One more question for you, bro. Thank you for sharing. You're now
Yeah.
closing a lot of deals. You just closed a 122 panel deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. 122 panels.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
and you're constantly closing business, right? You're growing your business. You're doing every aspect of the business, which is, I'm very proud of you. Because when you got started here with us, I remember when I did the three-way call with you for you to come on board. You knew nothing about solar, and now you're like a full-blown one of the top Florida, especially Miami mentors. My question to you is, what did you do, Kevin, to get off the ground and get your first couple sales? What was the plan of attack for you to get your first couple of sales?
So I had no choice, JC. I made a decision like, hey, the same way how, space shuttle when it launches, I launched, I made it. I didn't sign up just because, you sign up and you get started and you pass a course. No, I picture myself like I'm an owner. I launched my business and I put in the work, I set a time frame. I said, hey, I sleep, 6 hours or 8 hours. I have this, work 8 hours, and I'm gonna find a way what I'm gonna do with the other remainder of the time before I was full time. And what I did is I studied the most successful people in the industry in power and in general in solar, and I modeled them, right? I studied videos, I invested in myself. And then I was willing to take the risk and put in the work, right? Go out there and door knock, right? Fail forward, how John Maxwell said. And just, trying to, and just not even trying, but looking to improve 1% better every single day as I became a better, entrepreneur in this. So invest in yourself, obviously going to the mentor factories, obviously, honoring, for an example, you will coach me on a phone call. So constantly having whoever is my person that's invested in me, calling them, hey man, what do you think about this? Oh, and when a person gives you an advice, write it down and then go and put it into practice and then see what works. And then just keep it moving, keep the ball rolling and no excuses. Just keep going.
I love it. I love it. And when you started, brother, did you start door knocking? Did you start new homeowner list? What did you start doing?
So I started door knocking because for me door knocking was the most free marketing, and I did a little bit door knocking before, and that was the best way I could do it. I know I can go see a house because the way I picture is when I see a neighborhood, I see like $200,000 worth of commission. That's my mentality. I gotta go find out who is the person that wants to go solar, that they're gonna win, the planet's gonna win, and I'll win for doing the service and helping them out and blessing them.
Yep.
So what I did is I went on a door knock. I door knock. I started studying door knockers, and I implemented that. And then from the first bill, I learned what I did right or wrong. From the second bill, from the second bill, I started learning what I was doing right or wrong, and then from there, I just kept working my way up. So I made a goal and a commitment. Like one thing I learned from a book that I read a long time ago. Uh, yes is the destination, but no, it's how you get there. And I remember Jose Ardone. I remember he said something like this. He said, "Yes, build up the wallet, but no builds the character." So I knew that I could build my character by just reverse psychology saying, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get like 15, 20 no's. Because as I get better, right, how Jim Rohn says, you make up in numbers what you lack in skills. As my skill sets get better, I know it's going to be hard for me to get 20 no's because people cannot resist the fact that they have a monopoly with FPL, right, or whatever utility company is. And people are going to want to say yes to solar. So I made a commitment every day to do that, and then from there, it just been skyrocketing.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you. And you know what we need to do? We will do a training probably next week. We'll probably get a door knocking training. So it's either going to be traditional door knocking or visiting new homeowners. Okay, I know that new homeowner list is something that you've also done in addition to traditional door knocking. So thank you for sharing that, bro. Let's go to Tony Denner. Tony, you there?
Hey, what's going on, JC? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, I would just say, kind of to piggyback on what he said is, I've been watching a lot of Chris Voss. He's like the top FBI hostage negotiator, and he basically is talking about the same thing, that if you can, you just want to just guide the discovery, and you want them to, discover it, because then it's their idea. But if you suggest it, it's your idea, and it's just a lot different. So it's really just about asking questions and letting them kind of tell you why they'll do this. And then once they say it out of their mouth, it's really hard for them to undo it. So I think that's usually what I do. It's just ask questions and then, like kind of get some of the hard stuff out of the way too. So in the discovery, it's like, do you know anyone that has solar? Yeah, I do. But what was their experience like? Because probably it might have been bad. So you might as well get that out of the way right there. So if they have a bad experience, you can get through that before you actually even get into the presentation. So I just think that's big, clearing the hurdles and having the tough conversations in the beginning, because if you don't have them in the beginning, then you're going to have all these objections at the end. It's just not going to work. So if you want to be a one-call closer, you got to get all the objections handled in the discovery phase of the presentation way before you talk about the numbers. And if not, all those questions you forgot to ask them, they're going to be asking you at the end.
I like it. Thank you very much, Tony. That was awesome. Anybody else want to share? We're coming up to the end of this presentation. So is there anybody else that wants to share?
I'll go ahead. And share.
Let's go, Luis.
All right. So I guess number one for me, it all begins, with mindset. Even when we're hitting the doors, some people are already defeated by the time before they even knock. They already feel like, oh man, they're gonna say no, they're gonna reject me. So to me, it's like I already experienced that myself. I experienced that with people that I go door knocking with, and I tell them, look, your attitude, you're walking towards the door with your head down, and then they literally say like, shit, like before they knock, and I'm like, man, you're already defeated. Like once I'm walking towards their house, I'm already like in a different state of mind. Like I'm there to help them. I'm there to serve them. Most of these homeowners need help. The reason they don't go solar is because ignorance. I don't mean to sound like that, but they just don't understand the benefits. They don't understand it's not an additional bill. It's not a secondary bill. We're replacing what you're currently paying and reducing that, saving you money, right? Behind me is that $3 million house that we're gonna be installing today. 55 panels. This is our view today. Wow. This is B right here. We're doing the installation today, 22 kilowatt system, REC panels.
Let's go.
Back to the topic. As far as the way I got my first sale was my warm market. I tell people that's been in power for about 6 months, have you contacted your warm market? A lot of people say no. And to me, that's kind of insane. The first thing you want to do is call everybody, make the list, and call everybody. Numerous times I even tell the same people over and over, the people that I can talk to this way, right? My friends, I'll be like, hey, what's up? When are you going to refer me to a solar client? I'm trying to give you $1,000, right? And I'm constantly reminding them. It's not just that, oh, I already told them once, I constantly remind them. And then this is the way I got this referral off of referral. Like even V asked me, how'd you get this referral? We have to go to 2 security gates. This property here. And it's just the power of referrals, So the more conversations you have, the more actively you are on social media, posting every day. It doesn't cost you anything to post something on social media. So actively be asking for the business, right? One thing I do want to say, when we present, I like to add this question before I present. I want to ask the homeowner, what do you fear most about going solar, right? Or what's your biggest fear of solar, or your biggest concern? So I want to get that out the way, and they'll open up to you, and then you can go about presenting your information. And yeah, there's different ways to go solar, That's why I tell the customer, look, hey, there's different ways to go solar. There's 4 different ways. We want to make sure we find the right way, the most beneficial way for yourself. And yeah, you're just a professional in front of their house, you got to be confident, number one, and then just be actively in front of people. But yeah, I think that's it for me today.
That's awesome. Well, look, you know what, Luis, that's awesome. And Luis is my little brother. Okay, he's my little big brother because he's a tad bit taller than I am. But it's so amazing to see people like Luis, people like Kevin, people like Syed, which I wanna hear from Syed to close it off. People like Ramsey. Here's why I say that. People like Kevin, they did not. None of these people. I don't know about Tony. I can't speak for Tony because I don't know his background, but they did not have experience in solar. These guys didn't have experience in solar, and they're crushing it. They're solar pros. Luis is less than a year in. Kevin is about a year in. Syed is 5 months in, right? So Jonathan, I think, Jonathan, you're about a year in, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't, but one of the things that they did is that they took the business very seriously and they launched it instead of starting it. There's a difference. Most people start in the solar business. Some people say, I'm going to go and launch my solar business. So anyways, thank you for sharing, Luis. And they got a beautiful install going on right now. So, do your thing. Syed, I want to hear from you one time. Tell me, what is it that's been working for you to get all of the sales that you've gotten?
Yeah, I have network marketing background, so I'm stronger in recruiting side instead of selling side. But because of recruiting, I get referrals, and I'm working on those referrals. And I was listening all of you, how you're selling, and I'm growing as a salesman as well. So I have business and network marketing background, which I'm using, and I just approach people for business. And I send your videos. Basically, your videos work. So I just send them videos, 2 videos, 3-minute video, and then other video. And I tell them, yeah, hey, if you're not interested, if you're not serious about business, I recommend you become ambassador. Actually, I have like 34 ambassadors now.
Wow.
Okay, you told me goal to have 50 in first year. So I already have 34. So, I think I should have 75 to 100 in 1 year.
Wow.
So yeah, so a lot of people, when I ask them to become ambassador, and they ask me, how much is total commission? If you're going to pay me $1,000, how much is your commission? I say, I'll make about $6,000 to $7,000. I say, oh, I don't want to become ambassador.
So ambassador becomes a worst case scenario. But the difference is that you treat it like a network marketer, where you actually made your list and you really worked your list, right?
Yeah. You told me make a list of 200. I made that list of like 330.
Wow.
It's continued to grow.
One of the things I can say about Syed, a lot of good things I can say about him, but one of the things that comes to my mind is one word: coachable. He is one of the most coachable people that I have ever met. And he followed the system to the T, from the scripts to the fast start training and consistency. Because some people will follow it consistent. Some people can't even be consistent throughout this whole training. Keep their camera on and pay attention for an hour. But so if you can't even pay attention for an hour to this training, what makes you think you can be consistent enough to be successful in business? I mean, let's call a spade, right? So anyway, Syed, thank you so much for sharing. I hope you guys got some great value from this. This, as always, will be recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel. Jessica, could you share our YouTube channel, any of the links, and share them on here? That way you guys can subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so you get these. Some of you guys were asking about Mentor Factory. All of these people that talked today have been to Mentor Factory. By the way, hey, coincidence? I don't know. But every single one that is having the results is shared has been to Mentor Factory. Every last one. So the Mentor Factory 2022 is already available at mentorfactory.net. You go on there and buy it. It's $100. Mentor Factory 2023 is mentorfactory2023.com. That will be available by Friday. You'll be able to buy it for $99. Here's a promo. You could get both Mentor Factory 2022 and 2023 for $149. And on those, we're gonna ask. We also have all of the trainings, Mentor Factory 2021. It's also available. We're gonna add it to them. So essentially, you're gonna get for $149 Mentor Factory 2021, 2022, and 2023. Which, by the way, some people pay $250 per event, plus their plane ticket, plus their hotel, and all that stuff to attend. If you want to get the bundle, contact my assistant. Put your number in there, Jessica. And if you don't have her number and you guys didn't have enough time to get it, contact me. And she's going to give you the Zelle so you guys can send the $149 to, so she can give you access to both of those courses. I recommend that you sit down, just like, for example, the speaker training. If you notice, we have people like Varia, one of the top mentors in the country. He's over there with Louis right now. Louis Rangel was there as well, right? There was a bunch of people that were at the speaker training. You got to continue to evolve. If you're new, you got to learn how to get the sales in. That's your focus. But as you start building a team and you figured out how to get leads and close sales and become a mentor, now the next evolution in your entrepreneur journey is to become a better speaker, to get your leadership skills up, right? You got to be constantly evolving. You want more time and money, you've got to invest time and money. And technology now makes it easy. I recommend you go out there and get the Mentor Factory. Watch it again. There's a reason why 3 years in a row it's a tremendous turnout. The last one was the best one. For $149, you can get all three. So remember, the 2023 is going to be available at the end of the week. So you contact Jessica, you Zelle the $149. She'll give you access to both of those courses. Anyways, appreciate you guys. We got the sales meeting to do right here. Have a good day. George, I know you were asking, by the way, about the Mentor Factory. This week is finally up. There was one video that was corrupted that we got fixed, and it should be up by the end of the week, and that website will be working. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Hope you guys got value from this. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the 10 a.m. training, and today, 5 p.m. opportunity webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, guys.